When you scroll through a sea of glossy TV listings, it's easy to feel a little nervous. So many models promise cinema-grade color, buttery smooth motion, and a gaming experience that'll make you forget you're on a couch. I've been there, staring at endless rows of 4K HDR and enhanced copy, only to end up with a screen that looks great on paper but feels flat when you actually try to watch a fast-paced sports game or a nighttime RPG. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. And today I'm going to walk through why the Hisense 55-inch U6 Pro might be the one that finally bridges that gap between hype and real-world satisfaction. First off, let's talk about the kind of room you'd typically set this TV up in. I've got a moderately lit living room with a large window that lets in a lot of natural light in the afternoons, and a secondary family room that's more of a dedicated media space with blackout curtains. That's the sort of environment the U6 Pro was built for. A mini LED panel with an anti-reflection coating that actually reduces glare enough that you can still see detail during a sunny afternoon without cranking the brightness to eye-pain levels. In my bright living room, the picture stays punchy and the colors stay vivid, which is something a lot of cheaper LED TVs just can't pull off. Now, if you're a gamer, you'll notice the native 144 Hz refresh rate right away. Most mainstream consoles cap at 60 Hz, but the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X can push up to 120 Hz, and the U6 Pro will actually display those frames without resorting to interpolation. In my testing with a fast shooter, the motion stayed crisp, and there was no noticeable input lag that some budget models suffer from. The built-in AI engine does a decent job of upscaling 1080p content, so even older games look cleaner. Although it's not a miracle, worker textures still have that original low-poly feel, but the overall image feels more refined. One of the most talked about claims is the Hi-QLED branding, which basically means you're getting a mini LED backlight that can hit higher local dimming zones. In practical terms, that translates to deeper blacks in a dark scene, like a horror movie where shadows matter. I watched a couple of recent releases with Dolby Vision IQ, and the TV adjusted brightness and color tone automatically based on the room's lighting. The result was a more immersive experience without you having to dig into picture settings every time you switch from a bright daytime show to a moody film at night. Sound is another area where a lot of flat-panel TVs cut corners. The U6 Pro includes a built-in subwoofer, which is a pleasant surprise for a TV this size. It doesn't replace a dedicated soundbar, but the low-end response is enough to feel the rumble during an action sequence without the bass feeling tinny. In a small to medium room, it actually fills the space decently, and you don't have to deal with the echo that a tiny speaker panel would create. If you're looking for a full home theater setup, you'll still want external speakers, but for a casual movie night, the built-in audio is a solid fallback. Let's get into the day-to-day usability. The Fire TV platform is baked right in, and you get Alexa integration for voice control. I was able to say, "Alexa, find me a comedy," and the TV pulled up a selection from Prime Video without me having to fumble with the remote. The interface feels snappy, but there are a couple of quirks. If you have a lot of apps installed, the home screen can become cluttered, and the recent apps carousel sometimes lags when you switch between a game and a streaming app. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you like to keep many services at your fingertips. So, who should actually buy this Hisense 55-inch U6 Pro? If you're a gamer who wants a TV that can keep up with 120 Hz output and you appreciate a brighter picture that still handles dark scenes well, this model checks a lot of boxes. It's also a good fit for households that watch a mix of streaming, live sports, and occasional movies, especially if you have a room with some ambient light and don't want to invest in a high-end OLED just yet. The value really comes from the combination of mini LED tech, a respectable refresh rate, and a subwoofer you wouldn't expect at this price point. On the flip side, there are some scenarios where you might want to look elsewhere. If you're after absolute black levels for a dedicated darkroom cinema experience, an OLED will still outshine the U6 Pro, even with its local dimming. Also, if you already have a high-quality sound system, the built-in subwoofer might feel redundant, and you may prefer a TV with a slimmer profile to hide behind a wall mount. Lastly, the AI upscaling is helpful, but not a substitute for native 4K content if you're hoping the TV will magically make low-resolution videos look like they were shot